I first got the job at Bay Ridge Correctional, I wasn't exactly thrilled. I'd worked as a corrections officer before, but Bay Ridge was different. It was remote, built into the base of a rocky valley upstate, surrounded by miles of forest and fog, the kind of place where cell reception vanished a mile out, and you started to wonder if the outside world even existed anymore. Bay Ridge was old. Parts of the building still had exposed brick and rusting iron bars. Rumors swirled among the staff that it used to be a psychiatric facility back in the 40s, that strange things happened in Cell Block E, that inmates sometimes vanished from solitary with no explanation. But I was a realist. Superstition didn't rattle me. Until week 3. I was working the night shift, partnered with a guy named Collins. He was older, mostly kept to himself, and had been at Bay Ridge nearly a decade. That night, we were stationed on the East Wing, an area of the prison that had been closed for renovations years ago, but still required weekly patrols. The lights back there flickered like bad fluorescent ghosts. Paint peeled off the walls in long sheets. Doors creaked even when no one touched them. It looked and felt abandoned. But Collins took it seriously. "Don't let your guard down," he muttered, flashlight beam sweeping the corridor. "This wing's empty, but it's never quiet." I thought he was messing with me, until I heard it. A soft, metallic tapping. Regular, rhythmic, almost like someone dragging a spoon across cell bars. "Who's there?" I called. Silence. We checked the cells one by one. Most were empty, just cots, old rusted toilets, graffiti. But cell E17 had something different. Deep scratches along the inside of the door, as if someone had clawed at it from within. No nameplate. No record on our clipboard. Collins went pale. "That's not supposed to be open," he whispered. He reached for his radio, but it only hissed with static. "Let's go," he said, and we left the wing fast. Neither of us spoke much for the rest of the night. The next day, I checked the records. There was no E17 listed anywhere in the building plans, not in old blueprints, not in archived inspection reports. Nothing. I should have stopped there. I should have ignored the chill in my spine. But something about that cell burrowed into me. The next week, I went back alone. I told myself I just wanted to understand. Maybe someone was squatting in the wing. Maybe there was a logical explanation. But when I got to E17, the door was closed again. The scratches deeper. And this time, I heard breathing. Slow, ragged, right behind the door. I raised my flashlight, heart hammering. Is someone in there? A pause, then a voice, hoarse, low, like air pushing through gravel. "You saw me." I stepped back so fast I almost tripped over myself. My flashlight flickered. Then the door rattled violently, like someone was throwing their entire body against it. I ran. I didn't sleep that night. I tried to report it to my supervisor the next morning, but he waved it off. "We've had guys quit over that hallway," he said, not even looking up from his coffee. "Cell Block E messes with your head. Just don't go back." But I couldn't leave it alone. The thing in E17, it had spoken. 2 nights later, Collins didn't show up for his shift. I was told he'd called in sick, but I knew better. He wouldn't just bail without a word. That night, I found a piece of paper tucked into my locker. No envelope, no name. It was a page torn from a logbook, Collins' handwriting, dated 6 years earlier. E17 active again. Heard breathing. Door was open an inch. Same voice. "You saw me." I don't think it forgets. I stared at that note for a long time. The writing grew more frantic near the bottom. "Door won't stay locked. It knows who sees it." I never saw Collins again. Bayridge put out an official statement that he retired early, moved out of state. But his locker stayed locked, and no one cleaned out his desk. The other guards avoided the topic like it was a disease. I stopped working night shifts. I transferred to admin duty a few weeks later, filed reports, scheduled transports, kept my head down. But some nights, usually around 3 a.m., I'd still hear the tap, tap, tap echoing through the vents. Last week, I found a new note on my desk. Fresh ink. No signature. Don't look through the viewing slot. Not unless you want it to follow you out. That was the final straw. I handed in my resignation this morning. But I swear, as I left Bayridge for the last time, I saw someone watching me from the far window of cell block E. Just a silhouette. Still. Waiting. I tried to tell myself it was nothing. Just leftover fear. Shadows playing tricks. But deep down, I know the truth. I looked, and it knows I did. That should have been the end of it. Last week, I handed in my resignation. I told myself it was over. That I was done with Bayridge and everything in it. Last night, I woke to a familiar sound. Tap, 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 coming from my apartment's heating vent. And this morning, I found a piece of old security tape in my mailbox. No return address. The plastic case was cracked, stained, and labeled E17-March 8th, 2007. Curiosity got the better of me. I borrowed an old VCR from a buddy and watched it alone in my apartment. The footage was grainy, black and white. A stationary camera pointed at the E-wing corridor. For the first 5 minutes, nothing happened. Then a man walked into frame, young, clean-shaven, in a Bayridge uniform. Collins. He paused in front of E17. The door was already slightly ajar. He hesitated, reached for the viewing slot. And then, the footage warped. A sudden burst of static. When it cleared, the door was wide open. Collins was gone. But something crawled into frame. Only for a second. Pale skin, no eyes, just teeth. I yanked the tape out and snapped it in half. And just now, as I write this, my phone screen flickered and went black for a moment. When it came back, a single message was typed in the Notes app. You saw me. I think it followed me. I don't know what to do. If you're reading this, don't go to Bayridge, and whatever you do, don't look through the slot.